Throughout San Francisco's history, many low-income communities have been destroyed by flawed legislation surrounding housing, and activists have fought to preserve these communities. One of those activists is Randy Shaw, CEO of the Tenderloin Housing Clinic, and from his and other perspectives, I aim to tell the story of how the Tenderloin neighborhood has been able to preserve its community amidst the San Francisco housing crisis. With the tech boom of the 2000s, many tech companies and startups invested in office space in San Francisco's booming downtown area. Because of this extreme growth in such a short period of time, there was a large increase in the demand for housing for these new tech workers moving into San Francisco. This caused rent prices to skyrocket for San Francisco residents. This, combined with the lack of affordable housing in San Francisco, led to a housing crisis. Then, when COVID-19 pandemic hit, many office spaces closed, leading to those working in low-income jobs supported by these large tech companies, like janitors, facing unemployment. This also contributed to the housing crisis, as more and more people were forced to move out of the city or face homelessness. Many of these homeless can be found within low-income neighborhoods like the Tenderloin, a historically low-income neighborhood with a diverse and strong community. Because of the housing crisis, the Tenderloin has become filled with homeless people who cannot afford the absurd rent prices in San Francisco. These homeless people are exposed to drugs and can become addicted to abusing substances such as fentanyl, which are highly addictive and can be fatal. This creates a vicious cycle that prevents these homeless people from getting their life back together. Other homeless people struggle with mental illnesses and are unable to find the support that they require. This is where Randy Shaw comes into the picture. Randy Shaw is an activist and the CEO of the Tenderloin Housing Clinic, a nonprofit with the goal of providing support and housing to low-income and homeless people within the Tenderloin community. Randy has been an activist for over 40 years, since he founded the Tenderloin Housing Clinic in 1980. The Tenderloin Housing Clinic provides a multitude of different services, which include providing money management services to low-income tenants all the way since 1988. The THC also offers permanent residency as well as temporary residency to assist tenants in getting back on their feet. Some of the goals of the services offered are to help clients maintain their housing and improve their general quality of life. In 2001, the THC provided and/or facilitated housing for over 1,659 low-income people and provided over 1,017 low-income tenants with free legal assistance. The THC does this by leasing out many of the old hotels in the Tenderloin in order to provide housing. For example, the Seneca Hotel and the Hotel Boyd. Now I would like to show a short video clip displaying how the Tenderloin Housing Clinic has been able to assist members of the Tenderloin community.
I had a shelter out at Bayview. You lay on those little thin mattresses, side by side, wake up at 6 in the morning, you can't go back till like 10 o'clock at night, stand in a long line, and it was horrible. when I would hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to go home," I was just like, "Oh, that sounded so good." Then I got to say, "I'm going to go home."
Even in the midst of surging economic inequality, San Francisco is one of the most tenant-friendly cities in the United States. That didn't happen by accident. For 4 decades, the attorneys, activists, and staff of the Tenderloin Housing Clinic have worked tirelessly to ensure that many of the poorest and most vulnerable San Franciscans have affordable, long-term housing and are protected from bad landlords.
The THC is not without its flaws, however. The THC houses these people in single-room occupancies, also called SROs, within a number of dilapidated hotels within the Tenderloin district, which can lead to poor living conditions amongst other problems for residents. As recently as September of 2022, the THC also faced a workers' strike over the wages being too low for workers to be able to sustainably live off of. This dispute caused a 9-month-long negotiation process between the social workers and the nonprofit, culminating in a strike and protest by the workers to increase their wages. Next, I would like to talk about another nonprofit organization that goes by the name La Casa de las Madres. La Casa de las Madres is a nonprofit focused on providing shelter to battered women specifically. Their focus is to support these women and their families as they escape the cycle of domestic abuse that they are facing. They also provide services for these women to build their assets and become able to live independently, free of their abusers once more. Many women who face domestic violence are forced to flee their homes and quit their jobs in order to escape their abuser. This can end up with them being forced into homelessness without shelter. La Casa de las Madres' mission in San Francisco is to help these women facing these difficulties and provide a place where they and their children can receive food, shelter, and other necessary aids. Now that I have introduced La Casa de las Madres, I would like to play a short clip from their YouTube channel that discusses some facts about domestic violence. Within San Francisco specifically, factors like the tech boom have caused many to lose access to housing. But I hope that through this video, you might have been able to learn about some nonprofit organizations that are actively fighting to support those in need within the San Francisco community, and specifically the Tenderloin neighborhood. Whether it is Randy Shaw and the Tenderloin Housing Clinic, La Casa de las Madres, and their work to support victims of domestic abuse, or any other team working to support the community, San Francisco's resilience and the kindness to help those in need is evident. Fixing these issues takes a lot of effort and time, and one way to help is voting in local elections to pass laws. You can also contribute to their efforts on their websites, and the next time you see a homeless person, try to have empathy for their situation. Instead, of seeing them as subhuman. Here are some sources.